Hi guys, it's Nancy Lynn and we're here today. I'm here in Pensacola, Florida, and we're sitting out waiting for Sally to see what she's gonna do. We're expecting a lot of rain. So far it's a little rainy now and then and a little bit of wind, but nothing bad, so we're hoping at least it's keeping the temperatures cooler. I'm gonna make some vegan leather today, and I figured I'd share that with you guys. I've already cut up some of the paper, and what we're using is a paper bag. And the first thing, and this one is like 5 1/4 by, I think it's 8 1/4, but it's just one of your regular size lunch bags. And what we're going to do is we're just going to trim off a small sliver right there, and then we're going to come to the other side and cut off a small sliver. And then you're going to open it up, your bag, and then you're just going to trim to get this bottom off. And you're going to find your seam, which is right here, and I'm going to cut along the seam to open the bag up. Now a lot of times I would cut the seam out, and I might, just to get rid of it, but this bag is a little thinner, so it's not really going to show. And what I have at this point is my Mod Podge, the pieces of paper bag that I've cut up, a fairly good sized paintbrush, something underneath to cover your table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to fold it in half again. And then I'm going to fold it again. So we just fold it in half, and then folded it in half 3 times. And so what you end up with is a piece that's 5 1/2 by 4. And then all I'm going to do is go in and cut the pieces that are joined together. Maybe a few others we'll take apart. There's one. That one's done. That one's done. This one's still joined together. Now, if you wanted, you could take a dry iron and spritz this a little bit and get all these wrinkles out, but I'm a texture girl, so anything that leaves texture in there, I love. So now I got a whole big stack of these that I can work with, and so we're going to see how this goes. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to take 2 at a time. And my Mod Podge. I got a brand new jar opening up. I did open it up last night, but let's get rid of that little piece. And I have, now I've been working on making napkins, paper. Oh, just love it. It's so nummy when it's done, the texture of it. There's a couple of the pieces that I did with the napkins, and they just have a nice as just copier paper, and it just gives you a really nice consistency to work with. I'll show you guys one day how we do those. And all I'm going to do is cover this with Mod Podge. And glue these two pieces together. Now I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I'm going to be putting this in an embossing folder, and I want my glue to still have a little squish to it. So I might do a couple of these. And then I'll stop the camera and I'll get set up, and then I'll show you the next step. Like I said, these are so nummy when they're done. So I hope everybody's doing well. If any of you guys are out in California, prayers for you guys with all the, well, actually no, they say it's getting into some of the other states too, Colorado, and there's prayers out there for any of you guys who are going through the fires. At least with hurricanes, we kind of have a warning. I'll do 3. So prayers, prayers, prayers for you guys. But and see, some of them aren't exactly even, and so or actually it was me. I didn't put it down evenly. But that's alright. Alright, that's going back in the water. This is going back up here on the top. We'll close it up, and I'm going to stop for a minute, and I'll get set up with the other. Alright, hi guys, we're back, and I have my Big Kick. I had gotten this at Tuesday morning at a great price. I noticed that they do have, at ours, they did have a couple of them left. And I love this. I use this probably more than in a lot of my other tools. And it comes with this pad that has different sheets to it that give you different layers of thickness. I really haven't used embossing folders a lot. So what I have is my bottom plate, and you can see it has been well used. I need to actually probably order another set, but I haven't. And I've got my embossing folder, and I'm placing our pieces of paper bag together that we glued with the Mod Podge, and I'm putting them in here on this sheet, and then I'm taking my top one. And you want it tight, but not so tight that you can't turn it. And I'm hoping you guys can see. Yeah, and I'm going to turn it. And this is going to run through. And I'm hoping that's a good, feels like it. Oh, it is shifting a little bit. And then when you open it up, you take this out, this out. Oh yeah, pretty. And then what you're getting is this beautifully embossed. This was a new one I had gotten. It's like hand crochet doilies. Oh, just so pretty. But this is the new one that I got. And I'm really liking that one. So I think I'm going to go ahead while I've got this one out and working. And aren't they just luscious? So you'll see the next steps that we do on our vegan leather. I'm kind of limited on space here, so if you guys see me kind of shifting stuff around, it's let's make sure that's all the way down. Once again, just put it under and roll it through. Take off your top sheet. Take off your embossed folder, and look how beautiful that is. Just so pretty. Alright, let's try a different folder. Now this one that I have is a Gemini folder, and it's kind of a Christmassy one, but not too Christmassy. So I'm hoping that, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to kind of centerize it. And it doesn't matter. This is all just for texture that we're doing this. Just to give us some extra lovely, nummy texture for our cards or journals or whatever you're... Let's see, I felt a little when I went to put that in there, so I'm pulling it back. You might hear some cracks. For some reason, this one might be a little thicker. This little Gemini folder might be a little... Hasn't started embossing yet. I'm gonna see what I can do. This one is this isn't from Gemini, but it came from Crafter's Companion with their Christmas set, and it's brick. And what I want is a variation of the textures to put together. Now let's see. Yeah, now this one's rolling better. The other one, I think I have to pull out another sheet from it. It's all trial and error. And it's paper, so if you don't like it, you can... Oh yeah. Let's see if I can get you guys to see a good thing of this. Magic of the wand of the hand. Let's see, and one side comes out a little more engraved than the others, but they're just so pretty. And that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to sit here and I'll finish doing the rest of them, and then I'll get back with you and I'll show you the next steps. Be right back. Journal. And these are the ones I have left, and these are what I've pulled out. I pulled out my, these are Master Touch acrylics. I think those come from Hobby Lobby, the Master Touch. These, I've got them in different colors. We're going to try them. This one's leaf green. This one is, be ready. All the dogs are coming in. Cadmium orange hue. This one's deep yellow. This one's permanent red. I did pull out some burnt umber and some pure magenta. I don't know about that, but we're going to try some of those on this. Now we're going to do from the side that's indented this time is where I'm going to paint them at. Wipe off my brush. And I'm using golden acrylic glazing liquid. You could use a little bit of the Mod Podge with it, gel mediums and stuff. I just do it just to extend out my paint just a little bit. I'm just going to put a small amount on here. We'll start with a red one. And I'll do about equal parts. Hold on, my dog's acting up because that's the yellow. I'm gonna do this one part in the red just to kind of clean off my brush a little bit. And then we're just going to blend that color over a little bit so we'll have kind of a tri-color. We'll have more of an orange, we'll have a yellow, and then we'll have a red. Now we're going to go with the green. I still have this bright cadmium orange hue. I'll try that one. Brush still has some of that red orange on it. This is like a pretty pumpkin color. Mm. Just see where that had some thickness to it. And the last one I've got that I hadn't tried yet is the green. So what I might do is just clean off my brush. I got any more of this other on this one. No wasted paint. Oh. And the last one, I am going to wash my brush because I want to do in the leaf green. Oh, I just got red paint all over me. I'm using the same brush. I want to try and get most of this paint out of there. And I didn't do a brown one. Flying paintbrushes. That's nummy too. Okay, we'll let those dry. Alright, hi guys. I'm back and this has got the golden fluid acrylics paint on there. And what I have done is I have some of these Stencil Magic paint creams, and I have them in a couple of different colors. The one that I did use, I can't read it. They say they're non-toxic. Oh, there it is right there. Bark Brown was the one. Where's that? Black Cherry. I think Black Cherry is the one I used. And when you open these up, oh, that wasn't the one I did use the Bark Brown. It gets a thick coating over it. I've had these probably 3 or 4 years and I really didn't use them when I first got them, but now I thought I would try them today and see how they go. And today is just all experiments. The lady that I learned this from her video is Lori Marie Jenkins, and she does a wonderful job. She is such a sweet thing to watch. That's where I first saw this, and so I'm really trying to experiment with it and see what different things I get. But what I did with this is I took a makeup sponge, broke open a little bit the hard casing that it got over the top of it, got to where I could dip into it, and then just lightly circular rubbed all the way around, and it does pick up some of the image better and bring it out, and it does give it more of that leather look because then it's kind of variegated the colors in it. I don't know if the camera is really picking that up. Now on this side I didn't do anything to because this is the Pocchiotti side, but we're only going to be using one side anyway. Now this one was the brick one, and I used the Golden Azo Quinacridone Yellow Gold, I think, was on here. And then I also took this one And this one says it's brown, a bark brown, but to me, I don't know, it just has more of a red hint to it, but it just brought those lines out a little bit more. Now this one was, I still kept it. It didn't go all the way through. This is the one I was having problems with going through. The embossing folder was thicker, and I've got to figure out the right levels with it, but it's still up. This part is pretty, and actually this isn't bad either. But this I went over with my Archives, Ranger Archives Coffee, and I just lightly took the pad and went over it. Now on this side it doesn't have anything on it, but I took the same pad and went over it, and you can see it brings out that pattern a lot more on there. It just really makes it pop. So on this one I really could kind of cut it and get two different sides out of it. So don't limit your options on it. Now this one I have not done anything with yet. This one is the purple one, and that purple is so purple, and it's almost like a black, and then it's got that little bit. But I haven't tried sanding this, so I want to try and sand it. And I'll sand it and I'll be back so you won't have to listen to me sand. Okay, we're back, and it did lighten it a little bit. Not a lot, but it did lighten it up just a little bit. So with the texture paste, you can really get a good differentiation. But I don't want to put a hole in here, and so I've kind of pushed it to that point. But it's still pretty though. You can still see it, and it's all going into like a collage. So now this one here, I have not done anything with, and I have this green, which is garden green, and like I said, it's opened up. This one I have used. I just find something, nope, like that's got a lot of that in there. There we go. And I'm just going to scrape, and you'll feel it all of a sudden, it gets real soft. And then you just get some on here, and I'm just lightly gonna rub to see how much this brings up. So it should just be getting the pokey outies. Here we go, we're getting a little more color now. Just a real light touch, not much, just a real light touch. Which is hard for me because I'm heavy-handed. I go full board at it. I do like this little green pop-up. And I hope you guys can see the green that's coming out of it, so it does just give it. But those are the ones, we've got all our other ones that I'm going to work with, and I'll come back and I'll show you. But I just wanted to do just this one on just doing, and you can tear this up, cut it up. You'll see I'm going to do another video on making the cover, and we'll be using these. But this video I wanted just on how to make this vegan leather. Thanks for stopping by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and make a comment if you will. Alright, this is Nancy Lynn. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hi guys, it's Nancy Lynn. I just wanted to show you the final products of these. This one was the one that was two-tone, and then I took a little bit of white paint and lightly used my straight credit card and just kind of dragged it across, and that gave it just a little bit of a lift on that. The opposite side I didn't do anything on. This is that purple, and I had sanded it down. It does make your paper a little thinner in some spots, and then I just touched it up with just a little bit of white. On the back here, I took some straight burnt sienna, and then I took a little bit of Distress Paints. This is Wild Honey, and it has a dauber at the end of it, and I just took some of this and just lightly dragged it across. So this one has two, so if I'm doing patchwork, I could use a little bit of one and a little bit of other. It stretched it out. This one I used some Distress spray over the top of it, the spray inks, and I used a little bit of that. It made a little difference, but not much. With this one, this was the back of one of these, and I just took the Distress Paint, the dauber, and lightly brought it across, and it did give it a little bit of a yellow tinge to it, so it's light and you can still see kind of the craft paper color underneath it. And then this was the other side that I did with the golden fluid acrylics. This one, I spilt my water for my paintbrushes, and it's still real wet. But it didn't really seem to make much of a, it didn't make it unglued or anything, because it really got soaked. And this was the other side that we did with the brown. I think it lightened it a little bit, but not much. This was the start. This was the other one that got soaked. So I'm still kind of waiting for those to dry. This one we did with the regular acrylic paints, and then I sprayed a little bit of the Delusions ink spray, and this color is Fresh Lime, I think, and I sprayed a little bit of that, so it brought out some of the indentions. This one I did more kind of graffiti like. I hit it with a little bit of the green that was left on my brush, and then I took a little bit of this and wiped it in a few spaces just to bring out different colors. And on the back, I just took my, lightly went over it a little bit just to give it a little color, because it'll give me one extra piece when I go to collage. This was the red, and I went over it with the rouge of these, brought it out. Now this one, I used what was left of my paintbrush and just lightly drug it across in one direction, and that's kind of pretty. I do like that one. This one, I used my black StazOn ink with it, with the red underneath it. I'm just doing these so you can see the difference, and this was another one of those. I just drug my paintbrush right across it, and it just really pops that out. This was one of the ones that we did in the, I painted with what my leftover and the brown in the back. This one is with it poking out, and then it was wiped with some of this. And this one I think is probably my favorite. It was Pure Magenta acrylic paint. I think it's American brand. I just love this one. It just has just that wonderful feel. And this one was the one that was two-tone also. So we've got a bunch of these to work with, and so in my next video we'll be using these to make a book cover. All right, thank you. Have a great day. Hi guys, it's Nancy Lynn. Just wanted to show you I got a brand new beautiful mat. I splurged on it, and I got it at Tuesday morning, and it was $14.99, and it does have it on the both sides, so I can get at least 2 uses out of it. Okay, on our last video we were making vegan leather, and so today we're going to make our book cover. What I've done, and this is a DiGiorno pepperoni frozen pizza. It's really not that good this time. It only had like 9 pieces of pepperoni on it. So what I've done here is I've gone in 6 inches on each side, and I've marked down, and that's where my spine is going to be. So I'm going to come in. I don't have one of those nice scoring machines. That'll be my hopefully next investment. They make it so much easier, but you can do it without that. I'm just doing this with a ruler. I've gotten a nice straight line, and now I'm going to come down, and both of these are even on both sides, so I'm pretty good. I am going to bend it the other way only because I want a really nice crease in there. All right, and we're going to come in and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm just pushing it up to that, and I have folded it correctly, and so now I can crease it this way, and I can crease it this way. Now I can always come across with my scissors to get a much nicer crease. And so there we go. We have one book cover. Now we've got to look at the length of it. It looks like it might be a little tall. And it's a little taller than 9 inches. So I'm going to take off about a 1/2 inch. I'm going to draw a line just to keep me straight and narrow when I'm cutting. Okay, so now we have our book cover. This is going to be the inside. I don't like to put all this on the outside, just I don't want it competing with my... And I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to get something to put up underneath this so I don't make a mess of my pretty new mat, and I'll be right back. Okay, what I am going to do first is I am going to take this and tear these so that I do have different size pieces that I can work with, because I do want to make this cover like a patchwork, and I would like to have a sample of each. And what I don't use on this one, I will probably use on the next one. And I'll be right back. All right, hi, we're back, and we're ready to put on our little patches. I have them all in front of me, torn up to all different sizes. I might tear some more as I'm going through. And I'm just gonna grab some Mod Podge, paint it on here. And then we're just going to start covering these pieces. And remember, because a lot of them I did on both sides, I have a choice of which one that I would like to put on here. So now this we're going to need to do quite a bit, and watch our, because this paper is thicker and it has that'll go better there. Because I want it to lap over and leave some to go around to the other side. And we're going to be doing this and covering the whole to me this is so peaceful. It's so much fun. I just love, I don't know, adding paper to paper. And I've got all different sizes. I got some that are long and straight, some that are square, some that are rectangles. And I'm just going to keep adding these on here. Let's see, there's a red one. Where do I want to add it? Maybe up here. Main thing I'm looking for is that I have my sides crossing over each other. That's a pretty one. But I think I want something. And I am letting these go over the edge. See, we got one of those. We don't have any green. And if you want to fast forward through and you don't want to sit here and watch me paint, put all these on here. And I love Mod Podge, and as long as you let it completely dry, I don't have any problems with stickiness with it. I know some people, I've tried the gel mediums and stuff, and I just always go back to Mod Podge. It's just so priced well, and it's a good product, and it does well for these type of projects. And oh, this just looks like, oh, that's not, trying so hard not to get this on my new mat, but you know that's impossible. Like, I did not come up with this idea. I saw it on Lori Mae Jenkins, just fell in love with it, and I knew I wanted to do one. I just didn't know what I wanted to do, and I love fall colors, and they blend themselves to this patchwork quilting. I better bring another green one in there. It's going to look funny. The only real bright color in there. We have a friend visiting us, or a pest visiting us today. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's a fly buzzing around. And August usually is our fly month here in Pensacola. Nope, not big enough. But this year has been a little different. It has lasted nope. Yeah, maybe I'll use that one. Okay, so we got almost all the way there. I'm going to turn it around so it's easier for me to work on. And of course, I just got a ton of Mod Podge on my new mat. It won't stay pretty for long. When you work with all this mixed media stuff and paints, and things get dirty quickly. Let's see, what is this one? It's an orange one. Just make sure you're putting a nice even coat under there. And you can always go back later if there's a little edge that pops up, and we can add something else to it. Now, let's see. Trying to see if I missed any pieces on there. Now, I'm probably going to stitch this afterwards. That edge. Gotta have it over the edge. Well, you don't have, you could do whatever you want to with yours, but for me, I want it to be So what are you guys creating out there? I know my cousin Donna, she's not creating. She loves to watch, but she doesn't create. Although she does have an artistic nature to her. And Benita, if you're out there, she's trying to get everything organized. She had moved. And so probably pretty soon she'll be back creating. These colors remind me of, and some of you guys may not be old enough to remember this, but in the 70s when they came out with all the appliances that were Harvest Gold, and there was a green, avocado green, I think they called it. And there were all these, oh, I don't know where that came from, but okay, we'll play along with you. Oh, nice, pretty coat. I don't know where you came from, but let's see, I'm just about going to use up all those pages. I mean, I'll have a few left over, but not many. Oh, there was Harvest Gold. It was like an avocado green. And if you make a mistake, just pick it up while this glue is still fresh and wet. Let's see, I do want to get another piece of that in there. I'll put that right there. And I'm not really, I mean, I do stop and pause every now and then and go, I wonder what would happen with this, but I'm really not. I'm more size conscious than but what was it? I keep going off of those colors. Harvest Gold, avocado green. I don't remember what they called the brown, but there was a dark brown, but they were all the autumn colors. And I can remember my parents bought a house and it had, we moved down here to Pensacola in the 70s. And the rugs, everything were those colors. Every single thing that you looked at was those colors. And they still stick with me to this day. This is what this reminds me of, is all that house and all those colors. If I remember right, the appliances were all this color and the rugs were rust and oranges. And then some of the walls were more of the tannish type colors. But that was the thing back then. Everybody was going to get their appliances in all those colors. Let's see, that one might go. And we're almost done, guys. And then we're just going to let this dry. And then I'll make a decision if I'm going to, let's move that one just a little bit more. If I'm going to sew this or if yep, that one off right there. And now I've got one of those at the corner. That will fit right in there very nicely. Alright, and so now we have this and we just have to let it dry, and then when it dries we'll come back. So I did have a few pieces left over, not many. quite a few. Enough to maybe do a little travel journal or a mini journal with this. And we'll take this and we'll just put it aside and I'll be back.